Welcome, everyone, to the final episode of 2024. I have B with us today. Gwyneth will be joining us. This is, by request, a Q&A. You've been asking for straight up Q&A. You want it, so now I'm going to give it to you, okay? I'm very excited that some of you are joining me. And if you're watching the replay, don't just think, oh, it's question and answer. I don't know. I don't know what the topic is. I'll guarantee you, put it on the background when you're cooking, when you're cleaning, if you're driving a car, because one person speaks for thousands. And your very question that you have on your mind might just be coming up here today. So, firstly, happy Boxing Day to all my Brits. Happy Kwanzaa and happy Hanukkah. Let's begin. Do you have any questions for me? You don't have questions. Terry, hi, Terry Pearson. Kia Mia, yay, I'm here. Do you have any questions for me? Because this is the AMA. Oh, you have no questions? Okay, so I'll just close the show. Let me start first by saying this. B is with us today. Okay, Soul, I'm going to get you in just a second. I want you all to know we are very lucky to have B with us today. She lives in Magdeburg. She and Gwyneth were just at the Christmas market about a week before the attack. 5 people were killed, 1 was a child, and 200 people injured. But B is with us. We love you dearly, and we are so grateful that you are here and you are well. And we send our wishes of prayers and hope and whatever is good, beautiful, and wonderful to those families that are suffering today and those who have been injured. So let us all be grateful that we are able to gather here, whether you're in your pajamas and you're watching this on your iPhone, or you're here like I am in Arizona with Nika sitting on the couch over here. We're very lucky to be together today. Okay, let me start. Soulfire Moon King, one of the questions is around energy and how a woman responds to a man in real time, how a man must connect with her where so many create only a flash. Okay. Oh my goodness, Linda, hang on here. Okay, first of all, I know who this is exactly. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let me go back to this. As in, Perion says, beauty needs a witness. So, okay, let me start here very slowly. How a woman responds to a man in real time. This is probably as many responses as there are females out there. Um, I know that I feel that we need to connect with you. We need to feel that you see us, and you're talking about beauty here. Obviously, beauty, we all love beauty. Little dogs, animals love beauty. Babies are drawn to beauty. So, beauty is powerful. But you have to realize if you're looking at a beautiful woman, everybody's seeing the same thing. They're seeing beauty and they want to attain it. They want to touch it. They want to have it. They want to possess it. This thing that is really going to cement the deal for you to make contact is to find the thing under the thing, to find the essence of the woman, interests, hobbies, the energy that she has, to try to find commonality. And I cannot stress enough how important communication and conversation are, and how I feel that men have been led astray. It was oftentimes by well-intentioned coaches, but they're taught very much to go for the goal, getting the girl, getting the number, closing the deal. You can't rush that. It's got to simmer. And there has to be some kind of attraction. And if the attraction isn't physical for her, it's got to be mental. And so I cannot stress enough how important it is to have a vibe about you, to be a good conversationalist, to be able to pick up in the environment what's going on. What is she doing? Who is she talking to? What is she wearing? Where are you located? What could you do to initiate a conversation? To find who she is, what her interests are, and to get a feeling about her. And that is where you go. That is the communication that happens. That is the observation that you make, like, wow, you're a really deep thinker. Are you a philosophy student? Or do you love to read things? Whatever it is that you notice about her beyond the beauty, I think is very powerful. I hope that's answered your question. Hi, Zen Maiden. How are you doing? Terry Pearson. Oh, let me think. Just got here. B. Gwyneth is with her family in Scotland. You are welcome, B. Victor. Hello, Susan. I recently got used as a rebound and checked your videos on the subject. However, I do wonder if I was used out of malice or bad timing. We're classmates and I don't know how I will act now. Do you think in your heart of hearts that this person had malicious intent to use you and dump you? Does that seem indicative of their character? That is an assessment you have to make. But I think what bothers me is the fact that you're even asking this, which probably gives some credence to the fact that those elements exist already. I never want you to disregard your gut, but how you should act. Now, this is a big question. Isn't it funny that the victim worries about their response, right? If you are indeed a victim, you were toyed with, so somebody wouldn't be bored or lonely, or so they'd have a date over the holidays. Now, you're supposed to wonder how your comportment is, meaning the burden is on you. So I would ask you to say to yourself, one, do you ever want communication with this person again? And if not, okay, good, you know where you stand. Two, do you need to have a conversation with them in private, not in public? Do you need to articulate the fact that I don't feel good about this interaction? Again, minimal. Do not go into you did this and you did that, because that opens the conversation. And if they're good at manipulating, they're going to get you on your back before you know it and make you feel guilty. And then you'll be apologized. It's a whole thing. You'll be trying to justify, you'll be trying to correct them, and they're just trying to get you in a corner. So I would just say, I didn't like our interaction. I didn't feel that you were representing yourself honestly. And I would appreciate that we don't have any discussion about this any further. I'm very disappointed in your behavior. I mean, just, I wish I knew the details, but I don't. But again, every decision with this has to be in alignment with who we are and how we think we will respond to the given fallout of whatever we say or do. Meaning, is it more emotionally detrimental for you to have a conversation with this person? Or is it absolutely necessary and it's just a challenge? Is it more important that you close the door? Or do you feel that because you know each other socially, somehow you have to be nice and overlook this? Because I don't think you do, but you don't want to wear that energy of, oh, you hurt me, I don't like you, because that's really uncomfortable. So if you want a session, I'm more than happy to work out what the conversation is with you and how you handle it. Thank you for that, Victor. Lance, $99, $99. This is Lance, a lovely, wonderful client, a good man. Many of you know him. Ladies, if you think there aren't good men out here, I got to tell you, I got them and they're here on this channel. Okay. So, Lance, thank you so much. Everyone loves Susan. Whoop, whoop. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love, 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 love to you and your family. Love to you. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a blessed, wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much, my dear. Terry, okay. With all the hate and conflict in the world, how does it not cloud your judgment on humanity? Is there any hope for the human race? We have made it through disasters. Yes, I like animals better, I have to tell you. But in the meantime, for every 100 rotten, selfish, short-sighted, malicious people, there's that one great human being trying to Like, be the good person, and I think it's worth it. Yeah, I can't really worry so much about what they do. They're gonna do what they do. My job is to take care of my side of the street and try and make sure I'm okay, and then we all need to know how to handle these things that happen to us. That's why I did the dating games guide. That's why I do these things that are collective of they do this, then you can do that. They say this, you can say that because if you want to be a good person in today's world and be non-judgmental and kind of listen and understand, you don't have to agree, but to try and understand where they're coming from. Um, you've just got to have a little bit more open mind, and not let it affect you. People are gonna do what they do. It is really hard to depersonalize a personal experience. When something happens to us, it happens to us, right? It happens directly to us, so you can't say like, "Oh, yeah, I don't need to take it personally," because I mean, it happened to you. It's a little bit harder, but, yeah, I try even harder to add, a positive spin and good content. I think people innately have within them a code. I think that those who have overridden it are just terrified and in survival mode. It doesn't excuse their behavior, but it just means that they don't have the skill set and they can't enjoy life. It's if you ever wanna feel good about rotten people, they really don't feel good day in and day out. I promise you, they don't, because their whole life is concerned with controlling everything around them and getting you to do what they want, and a world is not gonna accommodate us. You might have noticed that. So, just know that the rotten people, they have a horrible day all day long, I think. Let's see, Zen Maiden. How to avoid overthinking. Are there steps to learn to manage it? Okay, 1, awareness. You know what the thing is that you want to correct. That's step number 1. Beautiful. So I would imagine that your overthinking takes you down a negative rabbit hole of what if and catastrophizing or imagining bad things that are going to happen, maybe in your relationship or not. Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? I can tell you future worries. If you have a future worry, the best thing you can do is get a quick game plan. For example, I assume oftentimes in transactions that people could fail at their job. And I will think of a game plan. If this doesn't happen, let's say the Lyft driver fails to pick me up. Have I allotted enough time to get a cab or call somebody else? If my luggage doesn't get to the destination, do I have the things in my carry-on that could help me survive for X amount of days till I find it? Because I just assume sometimes that people are going to be prone to human error. So one way to alleviate overthinking and managing it is to solve the question that you're terrified about, which is making you overthink. Because whether you know it, worry is just the problem, the problem, the problem, the problem. But that can get eradicated if you start to think of, here's a possible solution. And then you put it in your backpack, like, okay, might use you. You're a possible solution. That's cool. Now you don't have to worry, right? You don't have to overthink. Overthinking is thinking critically is good for analysis so that you know how to plan your philosophical stance and your communication that has to be done. It's only a preliminary to find the route that you want to take. Anything beyond that is called worry. It's not called overthinking. I hope that helps. Okay. Hi, Miss USA, Stacy Brown. Happy Boxing Day. You're in Florida. Very cool. Um, Heathen Granny. Hi. Hello, peeps. Stacy. Hi, Susan. Lance. In life, I hear a lot of superficial things people say. How important is complete truth and honesty both ways in a relationship? If you're talking about a romantic relationship, and first of all, thank you again for your massive $99 contribution. Um, complete truth and complete honesty. There are those who believe, strongly so, that absolute brutal honesty is the way to get through anything. And then there are those exclusions, which I would say are thoughtful. Like we wouldn't need to tell our mate that they look really ugly today or that now we're having second thoughts and why we chose them. That's just unnecessary information. I think honesty is good, but superficial things people say. I'm not sure how to interpret that, Lance. I don't really understand what that means. If you can follow up and give me a little bit more clarification, give me an example. There are people who just have topical conversations. They're superficial people and they talk about superficial things. Well, with our partner, if we have a sticking block, we should be able to go into it, open it up, and take a look at it because it's harming both of us, and then figure out what the game plan is that we do together. But let me know what the second part of that is. Okay. This is Terry Pearson, 5 pounds. Thank you, my dear. Wish I could send more. Thank you so much, Susan, wonderful human being. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Terry. That is so beautiful. Okay, let me go back here. Uh, Kudzai, hi. Let's see. Jose, hi, Susan. How would you approach an attractive woman you see on a store or anywhere else? Utilize the environment to attach it to a conversation. Be delicate and make it make sense. As a guy, you're really great in a grocery store. Like you don't know what to buy, you don't know what to do, just ask their opinion, but also be very conscious to enter delicately and leave. It gets creepy if we know that a guy's asking us like, "Oh, is this orange good?" And then he just stands there and looks at us and waits and goes like, "You're really pretty." I'm not saying you do that, but there are some guys that get one bit of the information and then they do a lousy part with the second half. You could ask, if you find somebody who's like, "Are your socks good? Or do you like, what do you think about these trousers? I don't know, can you wash them in cold water?" So use your environment to tailor the conversation. If you're an ended question and you see that they're warm and engaging, to a secondary aspect of that, would you pair this with cheese? Do you, is there a recipe that you like? I'm sorry to, I'm like a single guy. I'm really sorry. I'm just trying to ask you. So then you've just put it out there, right? I hope that helps you, Jose. I agree with you. The beauty of the heart is the most important. And if you find her heartbeat, you have found the center of that person. Can we talk about betrayal? Phil, there is no question that is off limits. If I don't know the topic and I'm ill-equipped to do it, I will simply tell you. Betrayal is horrible. Betrayal means that there has been an agreement, implicit or explicit, that our partner or a person has broken, normally willingly, unless they're under blackmail, duress, or they had a gun held to their head. So at some moment in time, they chose their impulse of what they wanted over what they had agreed to. And it is a fissure that occurs, and I describe it like a fine, beautiful china teacup. The crack is there. You can glue it, but it will always be there. And it's very hard to let go of that betrayal and trust the person again. I just started watching now. Yari, how are you doing? I recognize so many of these lines. Men, men, men can see I know their game right from the start. How can I not be so dominant? Well, I don't know that you're dominant by knowing their game, because there'll be some guy that's playing game and you can just stop them and say, "Hey, dude, I know this game because I do it too." You could have a really good time by calling people out and seeing how they handle it. And not every man is rotten. Not every man has an agenda. Yes, would they like to sleep with somebody pretty? Of course. We hate men for what they've been biologically programmed to do. From day one, men have been wound up like a little toy to procreate, 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 and we hate them for it. We hate them for it. But this is what they're, this is, you know, it's kind of like their function in the world. I'm not saying we we let this be indiscriminate, but I'm just saying if you know game, you know how to play the player. So I don't see why you have a problem. The one thing is you may find somebody you assume has a game. Oh, this one's got a game. This is good game. I can figure this one out. And they could just be real. I did a video on when you're so real that they're sure you're playing game because you're so real that this is something they don't understand. They think it's a very sophisticated game. How long? Okay, wait. Oh, this is so good. You all have so many things to do. Oh boy. Oh boy, there are a lot. Okay, wait, Zen Maiden, where are you? I got a lot of these, and I've got people I've got to answer with the super chats. Let's see. How long does trust take to be rebuilt? I know it's not a finite number in general. It's actions more than it depends on, yeah, it depends upon the disposition of your person. If you feel that there was a violation of trust, betrayal, maybe a sexual infidelity, is this their nature? How they would prefer to be if you didn't harness them? Because that's important. That means it will recur again. Even if it's not recurring, it's lying under the surface, just waiting to bubble up. I don't know the exact situation. Um, People can lie to you, that's a breach of trust, and then you have to teach them that I'd rather hear the truth I don't wanna hear than have you lie to me. You won't be punished for telling me the truth I'm not ready to hear. Now, I know that might sound completely counter to what I said at the top of the discussion, but this is a kind of a truth where something has happened and they don't wanna share with you, but it's something you're gonna end up experiencing and fall out anyway. And at least then it allows the relationship to talk about this. Now I'm going to jump ahead to some of you. I want to get to one of these super chats because I saw it right here. Terry Pearson. Okay, I see this. Jessa, $2. Thank you. Can you say I love you if he is not ready to say it back? I don't worry about what they say. I don't care. Personally, if I feel like I love somebody, I'll just say it. But that's because I know where our power lies. I'm not giving I if you are waiting for them to say it, you're too insecure for you to say it, right? It's like, the sky is blue, here's my water, got a Diet Pepsi over there. Um, it Telling someone you love them does not diminish your power in any way. I think it's much more powerful. Waiting for their response to qualify whether you were safe to say it, that's weakness. So, if there's a time that you can do it, I've used this analogy before, like you hit a tennis ball and you smack it over the net and you walk right off the court. Or you throw a dart as you're leaving a pub and it hits it bullseye and you keep walking. If it's a monologue that does not need a response, that's great. I had a partner who I think I told him I was falling in love with him. And I said to him, "You don't have to answer." And he didn't know what to say. And I could see the look on his face, like, "Oh shit, what's going on here? Now, oh, what am I what do I do?" And I said, "You don't have to respond to that. It doesn't matter to me. This is from me. I need to say this to you. This is what I'm feeling. But one thing I don't want you to do, do not edit my emotions because emotions make you uncomfortable. That's your business. I want to feel what I want to feel. I want to touch, taste, feel everything in life. And when I get this delicious feeling, I can't wait to have it. So don't dampen my feeling simply because it scares the hell out of you." And he started crying. This was not a child. This is somebody closer to my age. Yeah? You see, he said it's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. You know, a woman who is vulnerable, being vulnerable in her powerful statements is awfully attractive because you're choosing to be vulnerable because you're powerful enough to do so. So that's my rant on that. Um, okay, let me go back here. I know, let's see. What to do, Mel says, what to do if your year friendship is turning into something more? Went out last week and she was more closer and touchy than usual. She said she doesn't want to date, but getting mixed messages. If this is a friend and you start to fancy her, you're fancying her. Were you always fancying her and now you're getting closer? So now you're like, oh, now's my chance. Or were you friends completely unconscious of this and it kind of evolved? And now her moves are making you think that there's a move on your part. If it's a friend, you got to talk to her to say, listen, I'm getting confused here. I love the fact that you're comfortable enough to touch me, but I don't know what that means, and in guy code or, female, maybe you're a female. In my world, that means there's something else going on. If there's something else going on, I welcome it, but if not, let's just table that. You just have to set the boundary, okay, so they don't f okay, me too, Susan. I love animals. I do too. Do you plan to visit Germany next year? No, I will be in Milan and Venice. Ah, Dana, let's see. But the good people seem to be outnumbered. No, a powerful good person can cut through hundreds of bad people. They're so much more powerful. I fear that by taking the first step, initiating romantic interaction, I'm going to scare off, overwhelm my love interest and not receive as much as I'm giving. Ania, I'm not sure about that. Are you dating? Did you ask them out on a date? Do they know that your interest is romantic? You know, I'm all for resolution. You all, I have been where all of you are at some point in my life. So there's the wanting, yearning. It's like the bicycle in place on like on a little stand where you're just like going at a stationary bike. That's the hopefulness that maybe they'll see me as more than this. I would rather not waste time anymore and make my case obvious, get an answer, get conclusion, get resolution, yes or no, and move on with my life. Your life, if you're young, may seem like this, but why waste time? We're looking for somebody locked and loaded. Those of you that are looking for a relationship. I'm not saying that it's easy to find these people. A lot of people tell you that they're available, and they don't even know that they're not because they've got things in their own head. But I think it's worth lack of mental anxiety is really a beautiful thing. Getting a no instead of a maybe for 6 months. Yeah, okay. Getting the no wasn't the answer you wanted, but at least you're free. That's my position on that. Don't waste time where you have to wonder, okay? Um, I'm very attracted to a man who's going through a breakup. He was not loyal to her, and I know all of this is complicated, but what is the basis of this, of such immense attraction toward him? Maybe he has a lot that's similar to your family of origin. Maybe he's a good guy that there are times that people will stray right at the end of their breakup. He was not loyal to her. Now, was he not loyal to her for the entirety of their partnership or at the very end? Sometimes people want to throw that little bomb in just to blow it up themselves as a reason to, well, I can't possibly go back and I'll ruin it now because I was unfaithful. So this is my exit. And sometimes people choose to be the bad guy just to get out. I don't know. You need to talk to this person. You need to figure out what else is going on. And you need to ask yourself, is this what you want? Because you're going to be getting involved with something. Okay, let me jump down here. Okay, I'm going to go to the super chats first, everyone, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, Jessa, $5. Your response makes me feel empowered and justified. Thank you. He makes me feel comfortable, sleepy, calm, more than excited and butterflies. This is good. Yeah. You can even say to him, this does not qualify an answer. This is my truth. I just want to share it with you. And if you want to take away the pressure, quickly move to another conversation. This is one of my conversational tips. When you're dropping something big, don't just let them sit there with it because it's like, that gets really weird. You break the tension by saying, I just thought I should tell you. I'm developing deep feelings for you. If you don't want to say I love you yet, you just say you're a man that I have deep feelings for. Just had to tell you. Would you like a cup of coffee? I'd be just like, sometimes men are just as frightened as we are. I had a client, I had a beautiful story, and I think I've told all of you this before. I had a woman who was with a man, and he'd never said, I love you. And I asked her, they were both older. And I said, in your heart of hearts, do you know that he loves you? And she said, he does, but he's never said it. And I said, well, girl, he's there for you. He does everything. He's faithful. He's with you. He's a good man. Yeah, maybe he's just not a talker. And she said, it really bothers me. We came upon, in the discussion of our consultation, she referred several times to her dead husband, who was the love of her life. Some of you may know this story. And I said, I've heard you say this a couple times. Have you ever said it in front of him? She said, oh, yes, yes. I said, well, if that was the love of your life, why would he tell you he's in love with you? That box is already taken. This is, you put your husband on this pedestal. I said, here's what you're going to do. So they liked to walk. And when they were walking, he would have more intimate conversations with her. That made him feel safe. And I said, I want you to stop at some point in the walk. I want you to put your hand on his arm or on his shoulder. I want you to look him directly in the eye and say, honey, many times I've heard myself say that whatever, ex like Phil or something, was the love of my life. And that was true until I met you. And stop and look him in the eye. So she wrote me back. She said, oh my God, you're a witch. She said, he burst into tears and said, I love you too. So you have to realize that oftentimes they're just waiting to say it. Why are we all so afraid to say, I love you? What's going to happen? They run away. Oh, I got an avoidant. Ding, ding, ding. That's good information before I spend another 2 years investing. Can we talk about this? I thought we were in a relationship. What are we doing here? We're buddies? So don't worry about that stuff. I hope that helps you. Okay. Um, Christopher, $5. I'm interested in a woman with quiet BPD. She has shown high interest, but lately has been ghosting for a month. What should I do? See, now I am not a physician, so I am a little uncomfortable speaking about these diagnoses. There are, you're going to get the flip. This is my understanding. Christopher, why this woman? Why her in particular? Knowing that there's already something you're going to have to deal with. I'm just saying, you've got a little bit more to go through. So your communication has to be even greater. She has been ghosting you for a month. What should I do? You could get to resolution by being very direct. And you could just say, I liked you and I wanted to get to know you better. I think you're an interesting person, but I've noticed that you've dropped the ball on communication. I'm going to assume if you don't reach out that there's no interest here. I also like the threat. The threat is if you're seeing somebody, maybe you slept with them, and then they don't communicate. The threat is, well, in that case, if they don't communicate, that's pretty obvious. But let's say it's been going along and now suddenly there's a break in communication, or they're not communicating enough. I fully believe that you have the right to say, listen, I really like communication. I've been very transparent in that. And without that, things like this get glitchy and I don't know where I stand. I can it's easy to assume things that perhaps aren't true. So I'll leave it like this. Um, in order for me to stay interested in investing in this or interested in seeing you, in order for me to remain attracted to you, I need it to be more reciprocal. Just wanted to share that information. I mean, that's kind of like I can't do this alone, right? Okay, Stacy S, 4.99. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Stacy. Let's see. I know I don't want to miss anybody that has paid here. Elizabeth Clark. Oh, thank you, $5. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Any tips for staying present in relationships? All the love to you. Yeah, mindfulness and staying present is a big deal. And I'd go back in the replay and listen to what I said to Zen Maiden in that oftentimes when things are going well, we're like, okay, when is the shoe going to drop? Remember too that relationships, as they evolve, have a pace and they're segmented. And you really don't want to rush the segments. Most of us want to rush the pace because we can't wait to get to, we're a couple, it's locked down. Okay, now I'm safe. Okay, I got them in the gate, closed the gate. Now we're together because you don't like all that anxiety. But that's also the only part that's really thrilling because once you get to coupledom, you're watching movies, you're watching Netflix, you're going out for dinner. It's not quite the same thing. So I would say allow your relationship to expand and explore each one of those phases and allow it to have some breathing room. That is your greatest insurance for going all the distance because you haven't skipped over anything. Because we all know that one of the big things that happens nowadays where people jump off the ride is that their momentum to get to know you and lock it down and get physical right away and do everything on the top without building the basis, then they get there and suddenly one person wants to have a conversation or has a reaction or wants to call them out, say, why did you do this? This hurt my feelings. They're like, wait, I don't want to be here. This is too much for me. I didn't like this part, so I'm going to just leave. So people leap forward, but they can't hold that position. So that is my suggestion to you. Being present means every moment is rich. It is a real discipline in today's world with so much input coming all the time. And I thank you for that question. Let's see. This is Lance. Okay, I love you, Lance. All right, where is this? And PMS makes me overthink, moody, and unpleasant. Not a good time to have a relationship discussion. Trust me. I kept my boyfriend up to 2 in the morning. I didn't even know what I was talking about. Okay. Any advice on what to tell him besides stay away from me? Is that toxic? You're doing God's work, Susan. Ta-da! Thank you. Um, it's not a toxic thing. But I think this is great because you're showing him your manual. You're showing him your control panel. Like I learned this with this guy I was dating, and my partner for I think we were together about 3.5 years, and he used to really trip my wires a lot. He was stubborn. He was so wanting to be in control and like eking out the little bit of security he was going to give me. And I finally said, "Look, I can't take this. I didn't do this work." So I was a very young incarnation of putting this stuff together. And I said, look, here's my control panel. You push this button, I'm going to do this. Do not make me do this. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to. Now, if you do this, I know it's purposeful. And that's not cool. So you just say, look, and I wouldn't make it all about you, Jessa. I mean, most gals, like the one time we shouldn't have a discussion is that when I'm in hormonal flux, and I know that about me, so I'm gonna ask you to help me to harness my own emotions, and if it gets a little cray-cray, you're gonna have to say to me, "Jessa, honey, I love you. Can we table this conversation for 2 days? Remember, you told me that I have to work with you on this. We're a team." And you'll go, "Okay, you're right. It's PMS. I remember writing that to Susan. Okay, I'm not gonna do that." So get him to be your ally, not your adversary. Okay? There you go. There you go. Let's see. Oh, let's see here. I don't want to miss. If I have missed any one of you, I will come back and answer your question in all cap letters and pin it. Okay. In You'll see it in the review or the replay. All right. Christopher, Stacy. Okay. I so appreciate you, Susan. Your advice was spot on. I know when I'm having an emotional day, it's not the time to show that. Feels like a lack of internal control. But also to you, not for nothing, you may have some justification for that, given your experience, right? So we are trying to understand how we're built and understand how we will react to what's coming our way in anything high stakes, normally romance. Yeah. Um, and so this back and forth between, I do like, whose stuff is it? Is this my stuff? Is it their stuff? Did they make me feel this way? Control me, unconsciously manipulate me, try and get back, want a secure position? Are they jealous? Are they angry? Are they hurting? Are they what? Is it just my stuff? So this is where we try and figure all this stuff out. Please answer my question, Susan. Could I? Don't know. You didn't put it in super chat. I'll try and find it. Um, if it's really burning question, I urge you to put it in super chat. Okay. Let's see. Sarah, what's your advice on fixing a long distance relationship that ended because of the distance? Should I break no contact, knowing that the distance, is only temporary, only until next summer? Who broke up with whom? And what are the factors? These are the things you ask yourself. Okay, this is perfect for a consultation, but you want to fix it. The distance is only temporary, so you could indeed sort this out with this person. This is where you need to have a heart to heart, one with yourself. Did they really indicate that they are willing to be with me and that they want to do the work while we're separated to be together and plan to continue when they return? Or am I hoping they want to and they just don't have enough energy to do so? This is what we have to figure out, okay? But definitely you need to have, if you're going to be in any kind of relationship, Sarah, you need to have a really meaningful conversation. Long distance requires so much more communication. If this person does not feel like communicating, doesn't feel like working it out, they have used the long distance as an excuse to end it. Okay. They're going to have to deal with when they come back into your local area later. But for right now, they're like, okay, we're not doing this. That's a clear sign, then you abort. Okay. There's no other choice there. I found the hardest part for me in letting go with an ex was to let the end. It still hurts that it didn't work, but she wasn't the one. Well, let me ask this question. How do you feel about your participation? Do you feel good? Do you feel like you did as much as you could and that on whole, you showed up with some pretty good partnership skills and did the best you could and you were a good partner? I think that's important because oftentimes we will find that we are partnered with people that there's no way we could know from the beginning. Everybody wants to know where those red flags, maybe there are some red flags, but remember the way chemistry and love works, we're going to be blind to much of it, and it's required to get into the game. Yeah, we've got to see the best in them in order for us to even get into it. So there's this willful blindness, unless they're raging red flags, and we are so focused on like, I am never dating another alcoholic, whatever your thing is. Yeah. So I think then all we can say is that given the circumstance, I'm really proud of my participation. I'm really tuned up to being a great partner. This partner did not have the skill set or the desire, or we weren't a fit, or the life goals didn't match, or we handle relationships differently. It didn't work out, for which I feel badly, but it had to end because it didn't work out, because we didn't work out. I did my part well. We didn't work out. You need a partner to participate with you. Yes? Okay. Um, Venice. Love Venice, Terry. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Um, okay. Soulfire is talking to a lot of people here. Okay. Let's see. Susan, love you. Okay. Kudzai, now we found something here. I'm feeling so relieved. You have no idea how coming across your videos have saved my life, Susan. Oh, I was in such a bad space literally hours ago. My newfound big white sister. Thank you. Happy Kwanzaa. Yeah, I'm your big white sister. That's the first time I've heard that one, but I'll take it. My South Asians call me auntie. I will take it and thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, Listen, relationships can get us down. Life can get us down. Nobody said this transit was going to be easy. All right. All these people that sell you this eternal happiness thing and this blissfulness, they are living in woo woo land. Okay. Real life has real challenges. There is not a human being I have ever met that I find interesting or deep that has not gone through some really big stuff and come out on the other side. So here's the trick with life. We've got to go through it, tuck and roll, process it, and move forward, right? We've got to let go of the baggage, not without looking at everything that happened and making our corrections, or it's going to come back again. We've got to do that, and because you just don't want to drag a lot of stuff around with you. And I have friends who, bright, interesting, funny, in their 70s, still talking about what daddy did and how mad they are at daddy. And daddy's like 90. I'm like, you've got to stop. This is every dinner conversation we have. I can't hear. My mind's going to explode. My head is going like this. I don't need this. It's not. uh, Obviously, we can't even talk about politics, so I don't want to talk about that. That's off the table. But like, is there anything we could talk about? So, harboring our hurts us because the way I describe it, I don't know if it was I think I was in Allowing Magnificence. If you haven't picked it up, get the audio booklet. It's really great. It is an AI, but she's cool. Um, or read the book, read the physical book, Allowing Magnificence, Living the Expanded Version of Your Life. It's in the description thing there below. Uh, it's bad enough that the cut happened the first time, that the sword impaled us. And the way I write it is you can leave it there to keep stabbing yourself by thinking about it over and over and over again, or you can manage it, handle it, assess it, evaluate it, get a new game plan, and put it in your past. And then that sword that impaled you becomes your scepter. This is your strength. So I am not saying that I'm ignoring the bad things that have happened, the betrayals, the treachery. Trust me, I've gotten so much of it in my life. And it took me a very, I'm, I'm like, out of the length of my life, I'm like at this part right now, right? And now I'm getting it. So we can move much faster when we start to see it and process it. But we just can't carry it with us because even worse than that, energetically, what happens is we keep attracting that to us. Because if we keep having that energy of being a victim, being hurt, and being betrayed, and that's all we're thinking about, that's all we're creating, that's all we're seeing, it's not going to change. I have, for the first time in my life, I mean, really, I am a senior citizen. I have this for the first time in my life, a group of loving, kind, generous, true friends, true friends. and I had to cut people off that I'd done decades with. These people treat me, I mean, they're so nice to me. I come home sometimes, I think, "Why are they all so nice?" What, like, it's so weird for me. People in restaurants are being nice to me. People at like, people are being really nice to me, and I'm like, "This is," I'm like you guys, like, "Oh, what's going on here? What are they doing?" Now, I know game, but then we also have to enjoy the beauty when people are kind and they're loving and they're nice. That's going to make our life a lot better. And then we're going to be happy, then we resonate happy, then people want to be with us, and then we're happy, and then we attract happy people, and blah, 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 blah. And there it goes. Okay, let's see. What do I have here? Okay, now I've got Lance. Okay, I still have Lance with the $99. Oh my gosh. I want to make sure if you have a question, put it in super chat. Make sure I can see it. I'm catching what I can as I go through here. Stacy, did you have any questions, sweet lady? I'm going to look for you now in case you did. Okay. Uh, why continue to put your energy toward a man who doesn't celebrate your energy, doesn't invite you to be celebrated as a beauty, and isn't allowing you to shine 3 to 4 times brighter in his presence? Well, welcome to my channel. I'm liking this. Loving versus seems loving are two different things. Hey everyone, hi Susan. E.T. Hello, guten Tag. Okay, I'm super late and we'll watch the upload, Gwyneth and B. If you're here, hello girls, they are indeed. Okay, any more questions? Jyoti, how to deal with a man who accuses me of going my way or the highway when I ask him to leave if he cannot accept me for who I am or things that I get upset by. Well, actually, he's right. And you're right to say no. I I understand the culture you come from, and for you to do that, there's got to be a lot of offenses. Okay. So if a person has created so many offenses that you need to ask him to leave you alone and to stop upsetting you, then basically you are saying it's my way or the highway with me, with my heart, with my feelings. You are unkind, unthoughtful, critical, hurtful. I'm not enjoying this interaction with you. I don't want to play in your sandbox. I did a video a long time ago. Oh, yeah, listen, I didn't know about SEO. I couldn't have cared less. It was called the sandbox rules. Do they pass the sandbox test? Oh, it must have been 7 years ago. And it was basically like, are they nice? Do they put their toys away? Do they throw sand in your face? Are they respectful of others? They didn't pass the sandbox test. They don't get to play with you. There's no reason you should feel guilty for having a boundary. Good on you. So, given what I just said about people being nice to me, I put very strict boundaries around me with human behavior. I had my family here, my cousins and their wives, and we have this lovely Christmas Eve celebration where we put luminaries out. And for those of you from the Southwest, it's a brown paper bag or a white one with sand and a candle on the inside. And all of the streets in my community are lit up with these at night, and people turn off the car lights or they go in their golf carts. It's just a beautiful, warm feeling. So people volunteer to do this. Like I just breezed into town. We had a dinner engagement, and this lady stops in the middle of the road. I'm out on a bicycle. My family wants to ride bikes, so like, okay, I gotta take them on the bike trail. I gotta go into the mountains, and so this lady stops. She goes, "You gonna be here at 5:30?" I said, "No, actually, I'm leaving." She goes, "Well, they have to be lit," and I'm like, "I don't have a lighter." I just kept going. Oh, I was so mad. I was mad because I know my boundaries. Now, was I a nice neighbor? Depends on how you approach me. If you haven't put your car in the middle of the street, blocked both ways so that I have to go into the gravel to go around you, because I also have an intention other than you. If you would have said, "Hey, how are you? I'm Cynthia. I don't know who you are. Is this your house? Listen, we put these out, but I've got to go home and bake an oven. would you possibly happen to have a candle lighter? Would you have time to do that? I gotta run back and do whatever with the pie. I would have found a lighter and done it. Depends on how you ask me. You don't treat me right? Mm-mm. I am a nice person, but it has its limits. And here's the thing about respect. In the end of the day, we have to respect ourselves. And if we don't respect ourselves, nobody will respect us. They'll just learn they don't have to. So I applaud you. That man doesn't deserve your time. And it's a hard, yeah, you're right. So next time he says it's my way or the highway, you say, you're right. I don't like your behavior. And then you go and look in the mirror and you go, I love you, Jate. You're great. Let's see who this is. $5. How to deal, hi CC, how are you doing? How to deal with man that's way too involved in his adult daughter's life. Oh, that's a tricky one. I don't know that you can get away in that. I don't know. I don't know. So I've told you in the past, I understand when people have their children, I understand that's their commitment. But this is something you really can't get involved in because you're obviously dating a man who's divorced or widowed. And I think here's the impression from me. This tells me that what this man is doing is his priority is his child. And that's fine. But additionally, he has not made any room for a serious partner because there'd be more energy and space to be in communication and putting energy into you. I don't know if she has a drug addiction. I don't know if she's struggling with mental illness. I don't know what's going on. If it's one of these really serious things, he's being a dad and good for him. But what I'm hearing underneath this is that whatever this is derailing the attention and the feeling you would like to have for dating him. This is what I'm feeling is coming through, that the other sentences that weren't written. And that means that this is a no-go zone. You can't stop them from doing that. Now, if you, as somebody who's seeing him, dating him, getting to know him, you are clearly seeing that he is driving his daughter away by his over-involvement and micromanagement, you could tell him, remind him about what it's like to feel like your parents are controlling you, even as an adult. But yeah, this is not a good dating scenario for you. Just, yeah, it involves a lot of conversations. Sarah said, thank you so much, Susan. Always great advice from you. Yeah, yeah. Okay. A lot to go through. Okay, let's see. Thoughts on how to deal with an estranged wife who took daughter, oh geez, overseas and has ghosted me. I know she reads her emails though. I just don't know how to approach it. I've given her space, but nothing. This is more of a legal concern. If the child is yours and was born in the US, she's still a US citizen. It sounds like you've been completely cut out of this relationship, and the wife now has total control over the daughter and is keeping her from you. This is a horrible situation, whether it's the husband, wife, it's gone both ways, where one parent, even if you're living in the same vicinity, where one parent takes the child and does not allow them to have contact with the other. That is a really horrible situation, but you need to know what your legal rights are in terms of communication because it sounds like she's blocked the communications. And because she's blocked the communications, what does she want? Okay, estranged wife. Are you divorced? I mean, if you're not clearly divorced, you need to divorce. I mean, this is you can't have this. This you're in purgatory. This is like in between. Okay, you need some legal counseling. That's That's the first thing. You need to know your legal rights with this. Okay, question here. My man I started had a fighting phase during which he stopped putting efforts. I communicated and he understood, but now he only do things when I ask him to do. He never denies. Alina, I'm not quite sure. Well, it sounds like the arguments that you had resulted in a bit of, I need this from you. And it sounds to me like when you say, I need you to do this, he responds. Is he going to do it of his own volition? Probably no. But didn't you get what you wanted? He is doing these things. I know listen, it's always tiring for us to have to, um, ask our partner to do something we think is desirable. But this also comes in, if you're living together, there should be some kind of description as to who does what in the house. Like, do they do laundry? Do they, who takes the kids? Who does their, the northern countries are very good with this. They oftentimes have contracts and relationship conversations about, okay, just because I'm the woman and I'm working doesn't mean I have to do all the laundry and all the cooking. I need you to help me on some of this. Here's what I don't want to do. Do you mind doing any of these things? Because normally it's like, oh, I was so bad. I was so bad at my boyfriend had a German mother. Now, there's no way that I'm going to be better at cooking or cleaning than the German mother. She went to housewife school in Munich. I mean, they were required to do it and then come back to their little town because if you weren't good at housewife school, nobody wanted to marry you. So he loved going down to do the laundry. And we had at that time, it was still kind of rough. I mean, in the city, and I was in an apartment where there was always like they had one laundry machine that would be broken and one dryer. He loved to go down there and, like, get into it with them, just, like, stand and wait for people to try and pull out the wet clothes. He loved that confrontation. So I'm like, I did the clothes poorly. He didn't think I folded them properly, and I said, "Great, that's your job." And he loved it. He loved it. Okay, um, my boyfriend has ghosted me the past month. Oh, okay. He changed his contact numbers and just disappeared. He called just now using another number and said hello. Now blocked again. Why did he do he's you can't do not belabor the ridiculousness of some of these actions. They have no idea why they do this. If we have to sit here and say, why would they do that? They're not dealing with a full deck. They're not being transparent. This is just game playing. I, I would get a new boyfriend, please. This one is not a great communicative partner. Why do we entertain this with people? You're going to lose years of your life trying to figure this one out. How many years so far? A month, 5 months, 6 months? How many months do you want to waste? You're literally wasting them. Throw them away, throw them away, throw them away. Do you want love? Want a loving, committed relationship? Oh, well, I'll just waste another year, another month. Oh, maybe they'll contact me. Oh, now they contacted me. Don't think just because they called you from a different number, they want you, and then they hang up. There are so many issues with that behavior. This is like a compactor full of psychological issues. I mean, it's not even worth unpacking it. Not partnership material. Okay. Okay, he's playing games with your head. Zen maiden, you got it. Question here. To be seen and loved by a woman who has chosen to love you. Okay. Being vulnerable with her and making her more interesting than my fear, truly opening my heart to her in all my ways. Okay, that's good. Just don't lose yourself in the process. In the act of loving another, we are not sacrificing ourselves. We are offering ourselves, but we are intact, okay, at all times. Then it's much more powerful to love, okay? I can't get my girlfriend to go out dancing, and she loves to dance. because she's extremely jealous and suspicious of other women. Xavier. Oh my goodness. So she doesn't want to dance with you, show everyone that she's with you. Are you professional dancers or you're a professional dancer? Um, wow. So she's not quite as mature as you are, and she doesn't trust the relationship. And unfortunately, so many of you, especially the guys, um, you spend more time doing damage control and repair work to maintain a healthy relationship because of what other guys have done before you, where they just tore the place up. So you need to say to her, look, I'm with you. I want to go dancing. You love dancing. This is silly. This is absolutely silly. And your jealousy is silly. One, have I done anything to warrant this level of possessiveness and jealousy? Two, why are you contracting your own joy and happiness? Extreme jealousy, that's not good. There is justifiable jealousy and there's unwarranted jealousy. And this sounds unwarranted to me, but she's got to get over that stuff. Okay, Will Anderson, I've come to a chapter in my life where I'm so happy alone with my cat, going for a walk in the sunshine. Do I really need to follow society's pressures and get married and get a family? Of course not. One of the biggest conversations going on today is not just you, Will, but so many people, the majority of people are choosing to be single by choice, not just single because, oh my God, I can't even go online and say, I can't go through this anymore. Just like when you finally work on yourself and you are so happy with who you are, you don't oftentimes feel the desire to do this. You don't. And especially as you get older, you're self sufficient, you have your money, you have your life. Unless the person is bringing you the same joy and happiness and they're adding to your life, single by choice is a completely valid category. And please, those of you who understand that I'm in this field, I need to address all of the aspects of human nature. Okay? I love my life. I've taken a huge time out because I love it. And also for me, I need enough time to stabilize in where I am. I don't feel any desire to do that. Maybe I will one day, but it doesn't mean that it has to happen. You know, society, part of being an independent thinker is knowing what your truth is. If all your friends think, oh, it's uncool to get married and you want to be married, get married. Be very honest about it. If you don't want to be married, don't get married. If you want children, state it. Be proud of it. You don't want children? I don't want children. You want to be single? Be single. You want to be partnered? Be partnered. There should be no good or bad on any of this. This is your life. This is absolutely your life. Terry Peterson says, Will Anderson, enjoy it. Society tells us to couple up. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your own company. At least we have our sanity. Like it. That's right. I can't get Super Chat to work, but posted here again. My posts keep disappearing. I'm not a tech person. Anonymity, Anna, whatever. I'm going to look for it. Can't find it. Don't know what it is. If I can't find it, if you can write it again, and I will answer it in the replay. I don't see where it is, and I don't see why it's not going through, and I'm so sorry about that. So it is nighttime for B and Gwyneth. Oh, yes, no swearing. You know, you can't do any of that. That will oftentimes boot it out, and I don't have anything to do with that. I'm going to close out pretty soon. This is the end of 2024. You have all been absolutely wonderful. I want to remind you all to be sign up for my newsletter. I let you know all the wonderful things that are going on, and you get discounts to things that other people don't hear about. This Q&A, you can always ask me questions, and that's on the contact page at susanwinter.net. And I'm going to be entering these things to I have so many questions backlogged that I'm going to start being putting into the podcast because I just can't do them fast enough here. By the time people ask me for a video request, I've got them like from 2019. So if you really have something urgent that you want to sort out, just book a session. Let's see. Don't forget that I've got a merch line that's a lot of fun that can keep you, in the right frame of mind and support the work that I do on this network. And also the books and the audiobooks. Remember, a lot of these things like Breakup Triage, it's free on Audible. Come on, guys, if you've got a membership. I mean, it's really good information. So I will be joining you again next week. We probably have, let's see, what is next week? Hang on, I want to make sure I'm going to be here. Next week is, oh, next week is the 2nd. So for those of you that feel like showing up on the 2nd, I'm working on the 2nd. Thank you, Susan, for everything you've done. Happy New Year. Happy ending 2024 by reading Magnificent. Stacy, I think that's great. Let's see. The rest of you, I'm going to have to answer your questions off duty because I want B to just relax. She's had a lot going on, and I thank you, all of you, for your contributions here. Thank you. If you like this, please subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Have them subscribe. Listen to the podcast, The Susan Winter Show. A lot of it's stripped audio from this, but it's great. You can put it on the background while you do whatever you do. Thank you so much for being a wonderful and generous audience. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lance, and all of the people that contributed to Super Chat. That is so beautiful. I really appreciate that. I thank B and Gwyneth for years of devoted service, being moderators here, helping all of you. You are always welcome on my channel. I'm excited because I've got new things that I'm considering doing with all of you. So that will be coming up. And stay tuned, stay loving, stay happy. Know your boundaries. Don't ever feel guilty about voting for yourself. And I wish all of you a wonderful and happy new year. And I will see you first thing in the new year. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.